So these are homemade peppermint patties.
Ooh,
Yes, computer.
gotta be good. Yes, we are streaming live. Welcome, everybody. It is Jocelyn and I mid-month motivation. As
Very
Jocelyn, you are motivating us with treats.
homemade peppermint patties.
That looks so good.
And they're not very complicated. It's a can of sweetened condensed milk. And are you sitting down? 5 to 6 cups of icing sugar.
So not diabetic friendly, is that what you're saying?
Heavens no. Heavens no. Because you want a workable dough, because that's the entirety of the middle of your peppermint patty is icing sugar and sweet condensed milk. And you're only supposed to put in like a teaspoon or tablespoon of peppermint.
Yeah.
I did 2. I don't do weak mint. So like it's mint everywhere. Like there's mint going up my nose at this point. And then you roll it out, put it in the fridge, cool it down, make circles, stick it on the fridge to chill. And then you coat it with chocolate chip shortening mix, which is like 4 cups of chocolate chips melted with some shortening.
Oh my goodness. That sounds delicious.
Stick it in the freezer, then eat at your leisure.
Yum, yum, yum.
It was like the second time I've made this. It's so good. But I have to buy the fancy hipster icing sugar, which is very, very expensive before inflation. Because it's made from beets, which I can't have.
Well, there you go. Yeah. I mean, grocery costs are ridiculous right now. Groceries, gas means stay at home and knit, everybody. Stay at home and knit from our well-stocked stashes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Nikki's here and Sabrina's here. Hi, ladies.
Hello, hello. Oh, I still need to pull out some skeins and at least narrow down to like 3 skeins for people to choose from for the even heel socks.
Okay, good. Good. I was hoping I've got mine. So we were supposed to talk tonight about sweater knitting, sweater modifications, sweater knitting. So we can do that, but I have a feeling that Nikki's pattern, the even heel sock, may get a little bit of airtime as well.
Oh, fun.
Because I'm hoping to cast mine on. But you know what? I put the pattern in my Ravelry favorites, but I haven't looked at it yet.
So much mint. I'm with you. I feel like the inside of my brain is menthol. Hello.
Oh, you gotta have it flavorful.
To be fair, people don't put in 2 tablespoons of peppermint essential oil.
Would you do less next time?
No. This is a level of mint I love. But I'm the same way with lemonade. Like when I make lemonade for other people, I use a regular amount of lemon.
Yep.
When it's me and my mom, it's incredibly tart with a sweet kick, but that's how we like our lemonades. Like we want like pucker tart.
That would be good.
So there is no store-bought brand that is strong enough for my mom.
Really?
So, but we'll also drink like a 5 jug of apple cider between the 2 of us in less than a week.
Yum. Oh, Melanie says she forgot about this. Glad YouTube reminded her. I'm glad they did too. Oh, we got Sherry is here and Sherry Light is here.
Ooh. Hello.
So welcome, guys. So what do we want to talk about sweater knitting?
I think it was gauging and adjusting to sizes were people's questions, weren't they?
I think so.
I'm wearing a simple hug tonight. Goodness.
I like that. Are you gonna do the brioche version?
Yep, pattern's already. A beautiful, beautiful Patreon member purchased the pattern for me because I have been jonesing to start this brioche hug since they first started talking about it a year ago when it went into design mode.
Yeah.
And I went, because I love my simple hug, I want the brioche version. But to make a simple hug that wasn't 10 inches oversized. Ooh, guys, sorry, my microphone's right there. I made some adjustments. I made a smaller size is what I did. There's no shaping to this garment. I made a smaller size and I made the armholes smaller so that it would be a very snug arm because I don't like extreme bat wings.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So there you go. You're kicking right off our sweater talk about modifications, because I really think everybody should modify their own pattern as they go. You know, there can be so many people that are a size large, and then you line all those people that wear size large up, and everybody's a different height. Arms are a different length. You know, there's so many variations, and then to sit there and knit from a pattern exactly as it's written for all those different body types just doesn't really make sense to me.
Very unrealistic. Also, your size changes from day to day, week to week. So that's why you'll have some clothes you'll wear sometimes, and other times you're like, this doesn't fit right, so you don't wear it.
Yep.
It's because your size changes from week to week and it fluctuates. And that's super normal. That is in fact healthy. You want your body to do that.
So what does everybody do in the chat? I'm curious. Are you guys a pattern follower to the T? Because I know there's a lot of people out there who just want the pattern. Just say, like, give me the pattern, give me the numbers. I'm going to cast on and I'm going to follow. I want to say blindly, but maybe that's not. But maybe people aren't comfortable, or maybe you haven't knit enough sweaters to really feel like you can modify stuff yet. And that's fair too. Mm-hmm. I think you need to knit a few garments, wear them to kind of know what you like. And then you can start playing around.
Or for the Sherry in the crowd who joins me for Critical Role, I'm not sleeping tonight. This is real caffeine. I always recommend looking in your closet before you start, because we'll look at a sweater picture and they're beautiful photos and they're very well done, but they're selling you a lifestyle. They're selling you a vibe, if you will, which is what they're supposed to do. That's the point.
Yep.
You have to be aware of what type of clothing you like on your body. That's going to eliminate a lot of the problems you have. If you know, like, I love the look of an oversized, like a 10-inch plus oversized, the woman looks like she's drowning in it, cardigan with fitted shirt, pants, boot combo. Love it. Love the look. It is it would be very bad on my body type. It would be very bad on my body type. Also, other people could use it as a blanket, but it would be very
Yep.
It would be so big. But my frame and my person looks a lot more balanced, even, and I don't feel frumpy if I'm in semi-fitted to very fitted clothes. That is the range that looks very good on my frame. For my height, for my weight, for my chest, so that's what looks best.
Right.
So while I love the oversized cardigan, I have to leave them for the Dianas of the world whose body frame fits that pattern better.
Right.
So as I love a colored yoke, I have to modify my yokes, because if I have my collar end up here, I have a very round face. All that does is emphasize how round my face is, and it takes away some of the depth from my facial features. So I don't want to look like I'm 15 anymore. I'm nearly 40. I'm waiting for gray hairs. I'm told they happen.
Don't say that.
Told they happen. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
You're funny. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, Nikki's talking about, she doubles lemon and everything. Okay, Melanie says, I always have to knit the body of the sweater longer. If the pattern says 14 inches from the arms to the waist, you have to do at least 18.
Yeah. Those are easy.
And I can't tell you how many times I have done Zoom calls, like over the last couple of years, doing Zoom calls with different knit groups, with guilds and things, and people will be knitting sweaters, and that exact same, Melanie, they're talking about the body and they're holding it up and they're like, I've divided here and I'm working on the body and I have a few inches more to go. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, have you measured? And I'm like, well, this, I'm just the pattern, I'm following my size. That's what it says. And I'm like, okay, I know, but measure you, like your body, or get a sweater. Get a sweater out of the closet that's your favorite go-to sweater and measure it. And I know at least 2 people that I know of that knit their sweaters too short, because they're just like, no, it's okay. I'll just, it looks, they're like, it's okay. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you guys.
But it's not, because you won't wear it.
No,
You won't wear it because
no,
you won't feel good in it.
you won't feel good in it.
Yeah.
So Melanie, that makes me happy that you know that you have to add. So I think everybody should know, right? Your underarm to where you like your sweaters to hit. Do you like it at your waist? Do you like to hit it at the hip bone? Do you like right where, like the crease, right where when you bend your leg up? Do you like it to hit there?
Yeah, top of the thigh. Top of the thigh. And it just because I am not the same height as Hohi Locatelli. That is a beautiful lady. She's very much shorter than me, so I very much know her patterns. To hit me where they hit her visually, I need additional inches in that body.
Right.
I am simply taller.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Which then means, of course, then you need to get, how many extra balls of yarn do you get? Do you get 1 or 2 extra balls of yarn?
I get 2 extra balls of yarn. I try to get an additional, well, depending on the weight. So I try to go for like 5 skeins of fingering because I refuse to play yarn chicken unless absolutely necessary because I hate it. It's stressful. Why? Oh no, I have scraps. I can use something else. That's the worst thing to ever happen to somebody. Not a problem. But I also have longer arms. So most people will do from an underarm measurement to your, where you want bracelet length, wrist length, thumb hole length, wherever you want your sleeve to end. That's another measurement that's individual to the body So I technically, if I was to give this to my sister, who's only 2.5, 3 inches shorter than me, the sleeve would come much farther down her arms.
Yeah.
Because correspondingly, her arms are shorter than mine. Which makes sense. I'm proportional to my size.
Yeah. Most, not always.
Most people are.
Most times.
There's some areas of short, some areas of long. It's really weird. I did a larger size. I did a longer size. I have to knit the small in the yoke. Otherwise, it's too high. I only need 7.5 to 8 inches in here. But if you make a bust size of 47, which is not my bust size, that's my upper bust size, it says 8.5 to 9 inches. Well, if I knit those additional 2 inches, I get so much extra fabric in here.
Yeah. You get all that
because it's there's too much space. Yep. There's too much space. So there's a lot to fiddle with, but knowing what size you are at certain points is going to be massively helpful. And knowing what size you like your favorite garments, like what their finished sizes are, is also massively helpful. This has to come off. It's worsted weight cardigan. It wasn't going to last long.
You know what? And now I feel like we're missing Amber because Amber said she couldn't join us tonight because she's got a work Zoom meeting. So she's doing that. And every time you start stripping, she always leaves you a comment. Okay, so let me take a peek in the comment here. I saw Nikki say that she started adding in a modification section to her design, her patterns. So that's a great thing. I like that. I think even if you're a brand new knitter and you're reading that in the pattern, that just gets you in the mindset of, oh,
it's okay.
I can do something different. I don't have to follow this. Yeah,
we can make changes. It's okay.
I always think of any pattern should just really be a recipe. And you follow it a little loosely. There's always things that designers put in there for a specific reason. Sometimes you need a specific cast on for it to be stretchy or for structure or something. But most of the time, you can play with it. You can tweak it to how you want it to be. Now I saw in here, oh, look at this. This is okay. So Wendy says she has not cast on her first sweater yet. So Wendy, I'm excited for you.
Hello?
Because you still have that excitement coming.
Just a second. My Amazon package has arrived.
Oh, well, is it knitting, crafting related? Because that's super exciting.
No, it's supply stuff to go travel next week to go to Edmonton Fiber Festival. It's my cat's staying with my brother and sister, or my sister and my brother-in-law, I should say. So I order her wet food. So it'll be her wet food arriving so that her wet food can go with her when she goes there next week.
Okay, so listen to this. So Sabrina, she says her husband is 6'9", so she has to modify everything for him.
Yeah, he also has to duck through doors. I have cousins that height.
That's tall. That is super tall.
Yeah, I fit under their shoulders. They're like, "You're so dainty." I'm like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm only dainty in this circumstance. this anxiety.
Okay, so Nikki's elaborating a little bit. So she says her Knox Swan Show, the one that is it actually live now, Nikki? I know everybody had tested it and I saw some photo shoots, so I'm assuming the pattern's gone live. She says that it has a mod section so you can get the fit and look that you like, which is fantastic.
Which is good. Yeah. Well, there's
okay, so Sherry Light says, I always have to make the arms shorter. So she's the exact opposite of you, Jocelyn.
Yeah. And that's totally fine. It's tailoring. And it is something that we used to do without thinking about it. Before we had pre-made clothes at certain sizes, it wasn't even considered weird. It was a given fact that you would have to have your clothing tailored to fit your person. And everybody, even the poor, had seamstresses, had tailors. We also, it wasn't a man's job, it wasn't a woman's job. Everybody mended, everybody fixed things because it had to be done.
Do you remember me showing you, like, I don't know, like a month or so ago, I had gotten some of those really old needlecraft magazines.
Yeah, I remember those.
I don't know, what were they, 1915 or something like that?
Early 20th century.
Yeah, really, really early. And I was flipping through them very delicately because the paper is getting so frail. But I was looking through and there was a letter, kind of like a letter to the editor. And this woman had wrote in. And so I got the definite feeling that this was kind of the start of the ready to wear market and garments.
It starts around the early 20th century. So like 1915 through 1925, you really start to see the shift move from, because you have pre-made stuff at the start of the 20th century. And it tends to be a lot of work wear, a lot of lower class wear, so a lot of basics. But you've had basic garments mass produced for a couple of decades or 100 plus years at this point, because a 17th century undershirt, everybody wore the same 17th century undershirt. We all wore the pirate chemise because that was just the garment you wore underneath everything. So those could be mass made because they are literally ponchos with arms. They're two big rectangles with two smaller rectangles and some triangles. Everybody wore them. They were made in one size fits all. And if you were tiny, you just had more excess fabric floating around. And if you were larger, you just had less. And nobody cared because nobody saw it. It was an undergarment.
That's exactly right. Well, reading this article, it was really, really interesting because I got the feeling that maybe it was just new to their community. And so, felt like all these homemakers, all these women were kind of up in arms that they were worried that the skills, they said, that the ready-made in-store purchases, they were going to be inferior quality. They wouldn't be able to do the detail, the finer work that the women and her daughters, family, like that you would do at home, the handwork that you would do.
Mm-hmm. And they weren't wrong.
No, right? And I know.
They weren't wrong.
But but it's just like everything. Every time I felt that was right at the cusp of like a new movement or for them, and you were just like everything that we take for granted, like ready to wear, is like,
But we caused a lot of problems with the ready to wear and the fast fashion. And a lot of the problems we've caused for ourselves are environmental, and they're massive. Those blue jeans you love are massively damaging to the environment. Massively
I
damaging.
bet you people just don't know that.
They don't
know. You just buy because that's all we've ever
been
known.
taught. Yeah.
But reading
a well-made pair of woolen trousers can last 5 to 10 years with a minimal mending. A good quality fabric and good stitching will take you a lot farther. But we also didn't have, except for the upper echelon, we didn't have tons of everything. We had closets, we wore clothes, but we did not have walk-in closets worth of clothes. That was strictly for people who didn't actually have jobs.
Well, you think about it. I've lived in my fair share of old farmhouses. And they have very, very limited closet space. Some bedrooms didn't even have closets.
So it wasn't necessary. You'd have 3 or 4 dresses and you'd have 12 to 15 undergarments, and you'd have 3 or 4 corsets, and you'd have 12 to 15 pairs of stockings. And that's not all you actually needed. Because you wore an apron over your dress to protect your dress. You wore a hat over your hair to protect your hair. And the only things you had to wash were the very outside layer, which got dirty, and the very inside layer, which was next to your skin. And all of that stuff's usually made out of incredibly lightweight cotton that we don't make anymore. We make quilting cotton now, not the same stuff. And linen, because linen is slightly hyperallergenic, and we wore the linen next to our skin.
So do you think we'll ever...
I hope we do. I really hope we do. Like since my mid-teens, which is when I started paying attention, because there's things you don't notice as a child. Science has been warning us that this climate is not stable. We're now seeing those effects very rapidly, very quickly, and we've had the 20 years I've been aware, plus the years I was not aware, where we have been warned. We've had more than enough time to get our acts together, and we choose not to.
Yeah,
that's the end of it. And no, that doesn't mean I don't buy stuff. Of course I buy fast fashion. I do not want to sew yoga pants. I hate sewing knit fabric. It is a pain in the absolute royal derriere. Will I continue to buy very expensive, comfortable yoga pants? Yes, they're not pants you wear to work. They're not work pants. They are home pants. It's a molehill I will die on. I will go out with everybody in public, but I will judge your ass if you wear sweatpants. Put on real pants.
Then you should have been at my work meeting yesterday, and you should have.
Tights are not pants.
Yeah, I would not wear.
Tights are not pants.
I would not wear yoga pants to work. No.
You want tights? Put a dress over top. Totally fine. Pants are pants. Trousers are trousers, and only crazy people think denim is comfortable. How in the world do you think denim? I don't understand why people think denim is comfortable. And I wore denim for years. I don't anymore. I grew out of wearing denim well before my surgery. That made wearing zippers up the middle of my stomach not a thing to do. Not a thing to do. Well, do I believe in stretchy elastic clothing? Yes. Yeah. I'm wearing stretchy elastic yoga capris right now. I'm in my own house.
Exactly. Okay, let's take a look and see what's everybody saying in the chat here. So Sherry Light always makes her arms shorter. Sherry G says, I'm not completely married to the exact pattern instructions. I usually have to add yoke depth.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfectly normal. It just means that your ratio from your armpits to your collarbone is longer than the person who designed the pattern. Be the same like when I release patterns and I'm working on garment patterns, I hope you people gauge swatch because my gauge is wildly different from yours. Because I am such a tight knitter. If you were to try to make something at the same needle size I'm using, you will not get my gauge. You have to drop most of the time.
Yes.
Because I knit so tight that I really rely on my test knitters to tell me what needle they used to get gauge. Because you have to gauge swatch to be a test knitter for me because I need that info.
Yeah.
So that in the description box, I can go, a lot of people got gauge on this size needle.
Yeah. I know I remember hearing people talk about gauge and they're like, oh no, I don't need to. I always get gauge. I always get gauge. And I'm like, okay, you don't understand how that works, right? It's individual to the designer. But anyways, yeah, gauge.
Yeah. Do you have a really good estimated guess? Yes. Estimated guess, if you're asking for 18 stitches over 4 inches on a fingering weight yarn, I need a 4mm. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to hit that 18 stitch gauge, no problem. Or I'm going to be 17.5 or 18.5. That's close enough. I can do the math.
Right.
And go up or down a size so that I have a size that fits me.
Yep. Yep. And once you've knit a bit, you know exactly that. Like you said, you know a ballpark where you can start.
Yeah. I still gauge swatch. Because color work is tighter. Lace is more open.
Brioche is looser.
So you have to swatch.
You gotta swatch, guys. All right.
I still swatch and sewing. It's still a thing you gotta do. You gotta lay out your pattern, you gotta do all your cutting, and then you have a little test square that you test your sewing machine to make sure your tension on your sewing threads is correct. And you do that before you start sewing your garment. Well, if you don't and your tension's wrong, then then you got to rip out your first seam before you even started. Whereas if you're testing your tension on your sewing for your fabric, for the threads, to make sure everything does what it's supposed to, then you don't have to. And if it's wrong, you can sew a couple of lines on this small scrap piece of fabric, pitch it in the garbage, and you're done.
Well, that's a pretty easy swatch then. Yeah, I did not know you had to do that for sewing. I'm like, not a sewer at all. Hey, now this, I see a very, I need a very,
there's fabric hanging out right there that I pulled apart because I lost 60 pounds a few years ago, and I need to remake that dress because I wore that dress to Diana's wedding, but I was already shrinking out of it.
Yeah.
So I want to remake it because I really like the fabric. So I actually need to make everything the next size down.
Well, that sounds exciting. Okay, so this is a very important one. Did you guys read Tammy's comment? She said, speaking of lemons, she saw lemon Oreos at the store today.
Ew.
With the golden cookie. What?
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
No, thank you.
Lemon Oreos? Yeah.
No. I like shortbread cookies. I like ginger snap cookies.
I'm all over that. I'm going to have to go look for that, Tammy.
I need haystack cookies. Guys, I have to make my own cookies. I can't eat Oreos, they have corn.
Well, yeah, you're in a different boat because you've got to be careful. But
my mom found ice cream sauce stuff that's corn free. I've never had ice cream sauce stuff without having it set my allergies off. So I'm super excited to have a vegan ice cream, guys. I can't have dairy. Vegan rice syrup solid ice cream, which you stick out on the counter and walk away for a half hour because that's how long it takes to thaw, so you can stick the ice cream scoop in. And sauce on it. Sauce. That isn't berries I've mashed.
Well, I'm any kind of ice cream with anything on it. I'm all good for. It's the long weekend, like tomorrow's tomorrow's Friday, so that's the start of my weekend. It is the long weekend, so it is ice cream weekend for me, you guys.
It's May long weekend, so we have rain. We have rain many long weekends. We don't need the moisture in Manitoba. Oh my God, there's so much water right now.
Okay, now here, Sherry G's got brought up a really good point here. Talking about, just embracing or accepting your body. Yeah. So she's talking about, she wants to embrace wearing whatever style I like the look of. Her hurdle is a cropped or shorter length body. She said, I want to do it and I'm determined to accept my body enough to make one.
Cropped looks good on a lot of people. Cropped looks amazing. All cropped does is raise your waistline visual. So all it is doing, if you're shorter, is it's making you look taller because you've raised that waistline look. So if you're stopping your cropped where the smallest part of your rib cage is and pretending that's your waistline, it will look great. I look good in a cropped. I don't like being that much leg. But that's a personal thing for me.
Well, it's, where those lines are, the where your lines hit, that's what draws you in. So where your hem is, if you've got really wide hips, you're not going to want it. People want to cover everything, but all that's doing is drawing your eye right to where you want to hide.
If you say you have a small bust and wider hips, if you wear a cropped shirt with a slightly fuller skirt, guys, I'm big into skirts. Own the fact you don't got to wear pants. You can eat a lot of food, elastic waistbands, still look classy. Super good. It's also super easy to look classy. Everyone's like, why do you wear dresses? I'm like, because it's one article of clothing. I get up in the morning and I go, I feel red today. On it goes, out the door. Lazy, guys, lazy. Hairs in a braid all the time. Lazy. Do not put that much effort into myself. But that looks great. You know why it looks great? Because you've balanced your top and your bottom. So you look great. You're going to feel good because you look good. And it doesn't matter that your cropped length would be different than my cropped length, so long as it's the right cropped length for our height and our body ratio.
See, and I think that's it exactly, because I have issues with cropped because the boobs are so big, and that I feel like if I wear cropped, if it's too cropped, then I feel like my waist is right under my boobs, and I don't like how that looks.
It doesn't look good, no. Whereas, so take a look at me and Diana, both of us, and you are gifted in the chesticle department.
Yep.
They are huge. They're expensive to hoist around.
They are.
But they are burning. If we do a cropped, say you have Diana's frame. Diana's very slender everywhere else. So she looks amazing in a very nice, loose, baggy cropped.
Mm-hmm.
She feels incredibly comfortable in that. I would not look as good. I would look better in a more fitted cropped, because I'm more comfortable with the fact that my chest is there. Doesn't frighten me. I'm not. It doesn't. There's no hang-ups for me when it comes to my chest. Like I don't care. Like when I stare at it, fine. Boys, girls do. People have been buying them drinks since I was 18. I don't care. I don't care. That's great. I'm glad you noticed I have boobs. Sometimes it's funny when people are in coffee shops and go, "Oh my god, that woman's tall," is to grab my chest and go, "Oh my god, I'm a woman." Like no body issues in that department.
No.
That is not my thing. My thing is my height. I hate my height. So for me to wear a fitted crop makes way more sense. Diana would be very uncomfortable in a fitted crop, but her frame looks great in a looser crop. So that the one that she's making, oh, what's it called? Ursina? Is that the worsted? Is that the worsted crop with the full sleeves?
I'm not sure.
I think there's. I love the look of them, but I'm not comfortable in that shape, loose all the way down. But say like My Boy Lollipop, which is another crop shirt, is V-neck, very fitted, but is a longer style crop, so that you've got 2 to 3 inches under the chest. Yeah, that's where I want my crops to end, because that's the smallest part of me. So to wear that with a loose flowing skirt underneath would look great on my frame. And then I feel great because I look good.
Yes. And that's what you all want, right? You all want to put on something that you just put on and it makes you look like $1,000,000, no matter.
Before anybody asks, it's spring. The air is trying to kill me.
Oh no, I know. Allergies are a problem.
Yeah. And it comes down to preference, because not everybody wants to show off their boobs. I will wear V's that go down to here.
Oh.
And the girls will be out for days. And I don't care if men walk into buildings. It's not my problem. That's their problem.
Actually, though, I think a V looks really good on a large chest.
It looks amazing.
It draws your eye down.
These are hot. They radiate heat. I don't want them covered to my collarbone in the middle of summer. I don't need to sweat. Like I'm a part of the underside of Hades ballsack. Like I need air, but I run warm. So it's a constant balance. I'm overheating, and I'm nowhere near menopause, guys. I'm overheating here. I've always run warm. Even when I'm cold, the chest is warm. So like my fingers can be almost blue. I'm so cold, and my chest is still warm.
Yeah, there's a lot to play around with
and sizing differentials.
Yeah. Yep, there's a lot. So that would be a project. What's the word? Something for me to do. I'm losing the words here. Something that it would be an experiment for me to do a crop and to get the right length to where I would like it.
Just finding a crop that is similar in shape to your favorite sweaters and the fit that you like, and just making it the right length for your height and for where your smallest part of your rib cage is. It was the same when I do a lot of the older sewing patterns. When I do a lot of the modern day sewing patterns, I'm adjusting that waistline ratio, because like the Victorians and everybody before the Victorians, they understood it was proportions, not numbers. We're very focused on numbers and sizes. It's proportions, not numbers. Yeah. So long as your body's in proportion, you will look great no matter what it is you're choosing to wear. It's how it fits on you.
I think it's a good experiment. A good thing for everybody to kind of play around with and find out what.
I play with boxy sweaters. I just make smaller sized boxy sweaters because those look better on me than the oversized nature they're inclined to. They're still oversized. They're just not as oversized.
I keep getting a tail in my face.
Which is that Daisy?
Yeah. So what do you find as far as
it's got her head on my foot and she's sweating.
So like sleeves, like raglans, set in, drop. What are your thoughts on that?
A raglan is one of the more universal ones. Raglans tend to look pretty good on everybody. A raglan's like a straight pant. Everybody can wear a straight pant. Everybody can have a raglan. They look good, and that's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. It's like a scoop neck. I think just about everybody can wear a scoop neck. You got a couple of corner cases, but just about everybody can wear a scoop neck. But you crew cuts, higher cuts, lower cuts, then you start to get into boat necks. You get into different cuts, right? But for the underarms, it comes down to a preference idea again. So I'll look fine in a bat sleeve. I hate excess fabric under my arms.
Me too.
Yeah. So for my comfort, it's raglan or satin all the way. Satin's the snuggest, which I like, but I like fitted clothes. I wear clothes that are very snug around the chest so that they fit my shoulders, so they fit my upper bust measurements, because it is a massive inch differential between my chest and my upper bust. But your upper bust is reminiscent of what your shoulder measurement is.
And your shoulders, you want to get that measurement.
You want your shoulders.
Because that's where your fit is going to.
That's where it matters for the fit. Yeah.
See, and I think like you and I and anybody else who is well endowed, that's, because most patterns go by your fullest bust measurement. And then you do, like you said, you get all this excess that you don't need.
And you may not want. You may feel makes you frumpy. I'm comfortable. I'm okay with the fact that I don't have a flat stomach. If I want a bikini body, I put my body in a bikini. I am not. My thighs will always rub. I don't care. I will always have a stomach. I don't care. You don't like it, don't look. I'm about as proud as that overweight Italian man in the bikini thong. I don't care.
You know what? We should be. We should be.
It's just my body. You don't have to look. I might think your hairiness is very frightening and I need you to back off. Like, I have friends who are like, we're not going to care, because I'll go to the beach and they're very beautiful men and they take off their shirts. They can, we get ready to go in the water and I go put it back on. I'm blind. You're so white. You're like day glow. Can you you're going to burn. Do something. Cover that. Or I'm going to start drawing on it like it's canvas. Like, stop.
Hey, Melanie's brought up a good point here. So she said, I know I'm like way behind the comments, so I'll scroll through comments here, but Melanie brought up a good point. She said she has trouble with necklines in some patterns. She says she's extra large and necklines don't seem to be accurate. A crew neck turns into a boat neck.
That's going to be a differential from your underarms to your collarbones. So that, in the case of knitting, it's called a yoke. So I'm going to call it a yoke. It's not called that in sewing. Depending on where it sits on the collarbone is how it is identified as its neckline. So I am wearing a V-neck based on where my collarbone is and what the shape of the front of the shirt does. So I'm wearing a cap-sleeved V-neck t-shirt. These are short little cap sleeves on a V-neck shirt. A scoop neck isn't terribly different. It just gets rid of this bottom V and scoops out, but we're still exposing both of the collarbones quite readily. A crew cut comes right up next to your collarbones. Same with a boat neck. It's right up next to your collarbones. The only difference is a crew cut's circular, a boat neck's straighter. So a boat neck can visually make your shoulders look wider. Great if you're trying to balance your shoulder width to your hip width to help give yourself that sort of illusion of an hourglass, but not necessarily great depending on your face shape or if that's the look you're going for. Whereas if you've got too much fabric, it's because your yoke measurement is different than what the pattern calls for at the 2XL size. So I make the 47 inch, 48 inch, 46 inch, whatever happens to be the inch measurement in the fullest bust size. My bust is 53 inches. I say 52, it's closer to 53. It's 53 inches. I should be making the 3 to 4XL based off my bust measurements. Do you know what size yoke measurement I have to use? Small, medium. To get the right length in here. So I will cast on for a 46, but I will knit the increases to where the small stops. So like I'll just use the small increase chart. And when you stop increasing for the small, I still have too many stitches on my needles because I've cast it on more. All I've done is lowered my neckline and shortened that distance, which gives me the right depth in here, allowing a crew cut to look more like a crew cut and less like a boat neck.
There you go. Excellent explanation. Thank you so much for that.
This works in the reverse. Like when I'm knitting my niece things, there's so much length in here. She's a small medium. I have to knit the extra large increase ratio. So then I have to look at numbers and do a little bit more math to get it to work. But that's because she's longer in that section of her body than I am.
Mm-hmm. So just a little more tweaks.
Just a few tweaks. And then it's just knowing your body.
Yeah.
Which I don't think, we were talking before the stream went live, things we need to change. Women talking openly and scientifically about health issues.
Yep.
Talking openly and scientifically about just the fact bodies are weird and we are not the shape men want us to be. Mostly because men tricked us into bras, men tricked us into ready fashion. And they're keeping us there. It's a lot of publications, a lot of marketing is still male driven. So
Nikki's got a good point. She says, the way I see it, if we're spending, $100 to $300 on yarn, and it takes weeks or months to make a sweater, why not take the time to measure?
Take the time to measure.
Make modifications to fit their body. Absolutely. Oh, Diane is here and Sam is here.
Oh my goodness. Hi guys.
And let's see here. Sally says, we have walk-in closets, but mine is mostly yarn and craft storage. Sally, I like it.
2 small early 20th century closets. One's got 2 hanging rods in it. Parallel. There's a door space. And on either side of the door space are 2 rods. It's not a deep closet. And I have a second one. They're actually in my office. There's no closets in the smaller bedroom in the front because it's probably originally a dining room. I just use it as a bedroom. My second closet is storage. I have a chest in the front. I have actually a tall version of the chest that sits behind me in my front bedroom. I don't even use 2/3 of the drawers for clothes. All of my nearly 80 to 90% of my closet fits in that small 20th century closet.
Wow.
Can I fit anything else in there? No. No. It's full.
But that's okay.
It's full. But I'm replacing things as I'm wearing them out, and I'm moving more towards a very fully homemade, handmade wardrobe, and I'm moving very much away from bought items. Nice. I'm actually eyeballing making my own undergarments because I think that'd be an interesting challenge, which up till now I've shied away from because it seems like a lot of work. But now I'm like,
yeah,
it'd be fun to have underwear that fits correctly.
You know what? I had friends, some knitting friends too, Kathy and Rebecca. They went and they took a bra making course.
Yeah.
And loved it.
Yeah. I'm moving slowly towards corsets. Because like a proper 18th century call girl, I will be wearing a linen under mine. I am no HBO extra, thank you. I'll be wearing a proper corset, not a movie corset. Because I want comfortable undergarments, and I'm tired of the damage that bras are doing to my body because of the size of my chest, where I know I can have a full support with minimal to no boning from a Victorian corset for my size.
That's really interesting.
Because my size is in there and it's not even close to the top size. Because again, Victorian earlier do not care what the size is, they care what your proportions are. And if you don't meet the proportions, you pad, and it's normal to do so.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's not a faux pas. But you have to understand, women didn't wear heels in the 17th century. Men did, because that was a men's thing, not a women's thing.
I wish they'd go back to that.
I wish men had way better fashion choices than they do now, but I really seriously want to burn sweatshirts and blue jeans. I want everyone to go back to wearing stuff that looks good and classy. Bring back the suits. Well, bring back the suits. If they're tailored properly, they are comfortable.
Everything comes around. You just got to live long enough to see it.
I hope so, because men look amazing. Amazing. And just a clean suit. Oh, God, hello. Nothing looks better. Nothing looks better.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, Susanna's here, too.
With some suspenders. Oh, it just looks so classy.
Oh, yeah. Nikki says A-line dresses.
A-line dresses, they're another fairly universal one. I tend to make a lot of A-line dresses with V-necks because very comfortable. I'll even sew in knit fabrics, which I don't enjoy because I like being able to throw them on. They're like a sheath dress. No zippers required. Zippers and knits are a pain in the butt. Zippers and wovens are fine, but zippers and knits are a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Fabric's swishy. There's no stability to it because it's got that 4-way stretch.
Okay, so let's see. I'm just doing.
You have to catch up on comments and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through here. So yeah, everybody's just chatting. Men jump. Oh, okay. Oh, they're talking about some baking. Oh yeah, Nikki said something about a recipe. Sorry, I scrolled through that. Something. Did she tell you about a recipe? She said it was really good. It was like corn-free and
it's really, it is far easier than people think to eat corn-free. I simply can't buy mass-made things. So in the realms of like doctor and health, there are things that I have never had to worry about. I have been overweight 2/3 of my life. Became overweight as a teenager, and I have been overweight since. I have low blood pressure. I do not have high cholesterol. I do not have to monitor my salt. I do not have to monitor my intake of anything. I simply am overweight. The only damage I have been doing to my body, other than probably stressing out some of my internal organs because they're moving around a lot of extra stuff they don't need, is my joints. My joints are showing the wear and tear. But if I want to add salt to my food, I'm actually under orders to add salt to my food. And I'm nearly 40 living in Western culture.
That's pretty good. You're doing very well.
It's only thing I have to be wary of is the corn, which is such a fake high sugar that my body doesn't. I love sugar. I eat sugar all the time. All the time. My sugars are fine. They're rock solid. They're like my heart. There's no problems with them because I don't eat the refined corn sugars. I'm only eating the base natural sugars. And my body isn't being tricked into thinking that it's got sugar in it when it doesn't. So I'm stopping at a more natural level. Does that mean I'm still eating too much? I am still eating too much. I am still not exercising enough. My in-out ratio is still skewed incorrectly.
It's a work in progress.
But at the core, I'm healthy. So nobody gives me that much grief about it. My doctor would like me to see the take the weight off. Well, yeah, because I'll be healthier in the long run. But I'm not being pestered about it.
Yeah.
Because it's not that extreme of a health concern yet.
Right.
It just means I make things at home from scratch, which really gives me a better appreciation of what is paid in bakeries and at grocery stores, because I'm far more aware of the work that goes into something. I don't look at an ice cream and go, oh my God, they're charging that much. I look at an ice cream and I go, ice cream. This shit's like 40 minutes at home and done so much faster. I'm far more appreciative of lunches that take less than 40 minutes to prep.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm going to read Nikki's comment out here because if anybody's just listening to us, I like this. And Mr. Nikki, he sounds like a really great guy. So
he always sounds like a good guy. I need to meet him at some point.
Really good guy. So Nikki said she's had 3 babies and 5 pregnancies and now had an abdominal hernia.
Oh God, those are difficult to deal with.
Yeah. And because my husband is mature and sees me and loves me for me, he still is just as attracted to me as he ever has been.
Yeah. As he should be.
As he should be. Exactly. Nikki, that makes me really happy. You've got a great guy there. So let's see. Oh, and Erica, Erica popped in here and she's like, ooh, are we talking about sexy men all done up?
Yes, bring that back. Bring that back. Bring back their ability to wear waistcoats with patterns on it. Like, give them some freedom back. Give them some freedom back.
Yeah.
And yes, if you have to wear blue jeans and a gamer shirt, I dated a man who could only wear blue. No, I'm sorry, he didn't wear blue jeans. He only wears tan trousers. He wears khakis. That's it.
Okay.
Family's famous for it. And gamer shirts. Put on a damn sports jacket. It's not that hard. Still classes you up a little bit. You have to be quite that granola friendly. Do something. Anything. I beg of you. I beg of you.
And you know what? I think we can all agree with Sally here. Sally says, the older I get, the more I dress for comfort. Style is no longer a thing except for knit and crochet themes or items. Yeah. There's something to be said. You know,
I dress comfortably all the time.
Gotta wear what is comfy.
I dress comfortable all the time.
Yeah.
The other bonus I'm hoping for with the corset is it gives more back support. Oh, I'm hoping it reduces some of the back problems.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's funny. Elena's here. Hi, Elena.
Hi,
Elena
Elena.
says she agrees with Jocelyn about corsets. Once you reach a certain size of bust, it's just better to distribute the weight rather than trying to carry everything on one bra band.
I have divots in my bones.
Yeah, not
because
good.
of it,
Not
which is
good.
not good. And outside of a terribly small number of corner cases, everything you see in modern television about corsets is inaccurate.
See, why do they do that? You know,
Because
why?
because it's
Yeah.
it's
That's
a
a
Donald Trump fact. It's a Donald Trump fact. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
There's more than just him out there that does these sorts of things. It's a miseducation, is what it is. It's because people don't know. It's the same way when people first run into me, and if they've never interacted with a person who's visually impaired before, they struggle to know what to do. And some people do because they don't want to be asses. They don't want to ask inappropriate questions. Some people do it because they have incredibly large misconceptions about what being blind means. And a lot of it's just a lack of education. So if you don't know, you don't know. And if the only thing you know is television,
Yeah.
that's not good. That's not good. Now to look at something and watch a TV show and enjoy it, please do. I enjoy TV shows all the time, but I do not take my science facts from the science fiction I watch and read. I go to a science journal and go, hey, that's an interesting concept. Is that even a real thing?
But a lot of people
Is
do.
that actually the distance from the Earth to the sun? We have computers in our pockets all the time. They're called cell phones. You can Google this stuff.
Really. But you know, I think a lot of people don't, right? Because you think whatever they're saying on TV, they should have researched it and it should be accurate. And
anything published early 2000s backwards essentially gets pretty much a free pass because there really wasn't online resources to do it. So you just had access to your local whatever at a very tight deadline. TV shows and movies are very tight deadlines.
But now there's really no excuse for that.
There's less leeway. Mm-hmm. So things like tight lacing was not a common practice. Why? Because you can't actually tight lace a corset. It only gets as small as the smallest size it's made for, and it doesn't get any smaller. There's no,
I guess that's it. Good dramatic when you see them like.
Yeah, and I know I watched Abby Cox, and she's a fashion historian, and for fun, one of her friends were doing a parody video on things that are misconceptions about corsets, right? So we have this blooper where they're trying to do that whole TV movie scene where one person's got their foot in the middle of the back and they're yanking on the laces. I'm like, you can't even tighten the laces with your foot on the back because it's not physically possible because your foot's on the laces. Your foot's on the laces. So it's not a thing that actually works. But people believe this. But I know especially we can look at accident garments where these things were made 100 plus years ago. The only shaping they have is the sewing of their seams and the way the fabric's laid. There's minimal to no boning. So there's this huge misconception that you have to have these big, serious steel rod bonings like you're a dominatrix. Well, sure, if that's what you like to play as a game, do that. Absolutely, fully endorse. Buy yourself a good one. You're going to want to be comfortable in the thing. But it's not true in everyday wear.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, but we're not taught these things anymore. We're, it's the same way as you get the non-bra ads now. Guys, it's still a bra. Underwires are not uncomfortable if you have an underwire that is correctly sized to you.
Yep. Coming from people who need to have underwire.
I can wear an underwire for 12 hours a day. That is not what causes me pain or discomfort. It is the straps because I am resting the weight of a 53-inch bust, which is a F-size cup, on a strap that is maybe 1.5 inches. This is a wide strap.
Yep.
It's not enough distribution. But that corset, I'm going to be in. Mm-hmm. And then I've got the entire width of that corset supporting my chest and keeping my back straight.
Oh, I think it's going to be a thing.
I hope we go back to it because there's a lot. And I'm not going to say don't get rid of sports bras. God, you go running, wear a sports bra. There is a time and place for those things. I do not want to wear my corset while I do my yoga. I'm going to wear my sports bra while I'm doing my yoga. that neoprene elastic holding ness, because sometimes I'm doing stands on my head and I don't need to be attacked with my own chest to give myself a black and blue chin, like it's not necessary.
Yeah, no, we don't want that.
Don't want that.
I'm just reading the comments here. So Erica was asking, yeah, she said, what is the right lacing? And Susanna said, yeah, but tightening the laces with the foot on the laces. Yeah, that's funny.
It's not a thing. There's two traditional types. There's the crossover hatch type and there's a spiral lacing, both of which can actually, the crossover one, there's actually a tool you can get that will let you tighten the laces on your own.
Yeah.
So that you don't require an additional person. And you can do lacings in the front too. So your lacings in the back can be set, and then around the front where your busk sits can be a split busk, which is usually metal these days, mostly because we can do that, and they're nice, lightweight, and thin. And metal busks will actually have little eyelet clasps, and you can just clasp it together and just sort of tighten or loosen your straps depending on where you are in the day for size, because your size changes. Right now I'm at my widest size. I'm in the middle of my menstruation cycle, so right now I'm carrying a bit of extra weight, whatever. 4 days from now I won't be.
Ooh. Oh, well. Elena's saying, oh, she said she was at Abby too, and she said one day she's going to make herself a properly fitted Victorian corset and get away from the pain of bra. Diane says she hasn't worn a bra for over 10 years, can be happier.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, some people are super lucky. They can get away with like the shelf bras and the bralette things. So jealous.
Oh, I know.
So jealous. I got a couple of girlfriends who can, and I'm like, hate you so much.
I do too. And I'm
hate your face right now.
Doesn't work. No.
Doesn't work for me, but that's fine. Because they have their own problems and their own things that they have to deal with that I don't.
Well, and and we're totally getting away from knitting here, talking about bras, but I saw an ad and it was about women who are small chested, like A cups, and their complaint about not being able to get a bra to fit them properly. And that, I mean, that's something I've never even had to consider.
Oh yeah, no, it's still a fit problem. It's still a huge fit problem. Right?
No matter what size you are, there's always fit issues.
So. You don't carry your tissue the same way I carry my tissue. So bra cups are made for 1 or 2 styles of boob tissue. It's the same way in shirts and stuff. Again, it comes down to like when you're knitting things, if you know you carry more top tissue on your top, you might need that extra yoke depth to cover that. But if you carry your tissue underneath and to the sides, you might need to be aware of those measurements, because that's going to be closer to fit and comfort for you, say as a waist measurement rather than the smaller measurement you might be on top, depending on just where you carry things.
Yes, so many places, but but modifications are pretty easy to do.
They are. You just have to measure, get someone to measure you.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Do not do that on your own. do not do that on your own.
We all try to measure ourselves, right?
Don't do it.
You don't get a real accurate measurement.
It's somebody else to measure you.
Because you can't try to measure, your center back to your waist when you're trying to twist and like, oh yeah, that looks about right.
Like, what? You're not going to know if your tape measure's twisted or not back there. Don't do it. Just have somebody else do it.
So
Diana did, and I do. Like, I don't measure most of my own measurements. I don't take myself. I'll check my upper bust and my bust measurement on my own, but that's it. But I've been sewing for over 20 years, so I'm comfortable with this. But like on my elbow, like my wrist or elbow to underarm measurement, that is something that I get checked every other year with my sister. We take our measurements.
Okay.
Because they're not stationary. You change over time. So that changes. Your neck changes, your upper changes, your shoulder measurement changes, the width of your wingspan changes. There's all changes.
Yeah.
So you just need to make it a part of your thing that you do once a year or once every other year.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
Can't measure my own inseam. Kind of hard to make sure that's accurate. Yeah. Have a tape measure right up where it needs to be and all the way down to the floor. How do you check that without moving things around? You can't. You can't.
Yeah. That's a really good point. So yeah. Well, this is you've been very enlightening. You got good tips, Jocelyn. This is really interesting.
But I grew up having my clothes tailored or made, which is considered a thing that you had to do. wasn't considered a thing. And then I fell down a history hole because, well, history.
Well, it is.
God, do I love history. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Like it was a men's task.
Going back to like when we were talking about before all of the ready-made stuff took over.
We've lost so many skills. We've lost so many skills.
Well, I remember going to a knitting festival a number of years ago, and there was a woman there. She's a yarn shop owner in Toronto, and she was wearing a vest, and she was European. I'm not sure if she was Dutch, maybe. And she was just like, oh yeah, like, you know, she's just like, oh yeah, you just make it, you know, there's no pattern. You just take a measurement, and I think it was knit side to side. So you cast on like waist to shoulder, and then you knit around, and you just put your armholes in, you know, wherever they fit. And she was just so nonchalant about it. It's just like, oh yeah, it's just something you do, you know, like cooking pasta or boiling an egg or, you know, something.
Forgetting it's a learned skill. We aren't innately born knowing how to boil an egg. Someone has to teach us.
No. But the thing is though, right, is that you learn.
Sorry guys, I lost a filling, so my dentist appointment is until next week to get it replaced. So I keep pushing on my jaw because the coffee's a little warm.
But you know, right, like some of those things in different other countries are just you're taught. You learn that as a child. You learn how to knit. And I remember somebody else, one of the knitters that goes to Little Red Mitten often, she went, get this is like a dream trip. She actually knows Nancy Bush. I think that's and she roomed with her, and they went and they went to Latvia and did, or Latvia or Estonia, one of them.
Is Estonia's famous for Estonian lace? Have you seen those shawls? God, I wish I could make those. Guys, I can't see the yarn.
So yeah, I know. So they know each, you know, it's like you think all these like big name designers and whatever are like all these like movie stars, right? And they're just regular people. So anyways, she said, yeah, she roomed with her.
Yeah, if you see me at the Edmonton Fiber Festival, please come over and say hi. I will not see you waving at me. I will not mean to ignore you. I just simply will not see you.
So, but she, you know, she said that they went there and they were given, I think they were doing mittens and learning some techniques or whatever. And she said they were given a pattern that was a paragraph.
Yeah.
And it just said cast on, increase to this number, do some ribbing, knit ribbing for, you know, however. It didn't say 2 by 2, didn't say 1 by 1. And she said it's so different because they just know everything. We're here, we handhold every single sentence, right?
Yeah.
And
or there's like Skandir, like her mitts are, she's famous for her Selbu mitten clubs and stuff, and everyone's constantly going about gauge and about saying, she's a lot of the time she says it doesn't matter, just change your cast on amount.
Yeah, you know, and I love that kind of thing.
That's how she was raised. Like that's the sort of base knowledge that she comes from.
So yeah, it was interesting. Just about
I didn't know it was weird to hand sew your hems till I moved down south, because I was taught sewing from an Inuit elder, and they hand sew their hems.
Oh,
so I thought hand sewing was normal. Now,
well,
apparently a lot of people machine sew their hems. Okay, cool.
But it had to be, you know, I mean, at some point, everybody hand sewed your hems.
Yeah, I prefer hand sewing my hems because you can make them invisible. So I like doing it, but it just comes down to what your accumulated and knowledge is. Where it comes from. And I mean, that stands true for anything. It stands true for our crafting hobbies. It stands true with our regular life stuff. It's true around the board. You don't know till you know. Because you don't know how to boil an egg till someone shows you.
Oh, well, but maybe not so much now. I mean, times change, right? But that would have been a pretty common thing for everybody to have learned at one point, right?
Yeah. Men and women. Yeah. You have to remember, in the 15th century, beer was a thing only women made, and tailoring tailoring clothes was a thing only men did. Women didn't do sewing outside the house.
Yeah, interesting how things changed. And knitting guilds
male.
Strictly for men.
Strictly for men, and very hard to get into.
You had to apprentice for years, and you had to make, there were set things like a knitted rug and
wasn't it like a
stockings.
17th century was like a blanket full fingered like mittens, fingered mittens, stockings, and like a sweater or something in like 3 months.
Yeah, and it was like tiny, like on 1.5 millimeter needles, and
very fine stuff.
Intricate patterns, color work, like
120 days.
Like mind blowing.
120 days for those things, and that was to be considered a fully accredited member of a guild, and you could only be male and be in a guild.
Yeah,
but women could brew beer at home.
Yeah.
You tell a lot of men today that beer brewing is a woman's profession. That look at you funny. Oh. I know. I used to work at a home wine and beer store. That's how I fell down the history hole of beer making.
See. Okay, so Melanie's here. She said her maternal grandmother raised sheep, spun wool, cooked from scratch. My mother refused to learn, etc., learn to knit, etc. So she has had to teach herself mainly how to make bread and knit, etc. And she says easy how skills can be lost. And it's right. You know, if one generation decides they're not going to do it, it just changes the course from here on out.
People ask me all the time. They're like, well, how do you make things that are corn free? But he uses cornstarch. Yeah, okay, it's called tapioca starch. We used it before we had corn. It's a super legit starch. No, it's easy enough to change. Now, if it has actual corn in it, I just leave that out. I just don't use it.
Yeah, no, if you can't have corn, don't not put to use.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, but it's well, we've had
very easy. Yeah, it's very easy. But oh man, the freedom of having, and I mean, we'll know this because we all make hand knit socks. The freedom of having a pair of socks that fit your feet. They are more comfortable than a store-bought pair of socks. Do store-bought pairs of socks still have their place? Yes, they still have their place, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be a chunk of it. So like, am I going to stop buying shorty cotton socks? No, I'm going to keep buying shorty cotton socks. Would I prefer to have the 80% of my sock drawer hand knit? Yes, I would. Because the fit's better.
Yep. Yeah, because you can tweak it.
Because I can tweak it to fit my foot, and I have different socks. I have different socks. That's English. I have different socks at different sizes because I occasionally sprain my ankle, or I have some damage to my feet. So sometimes my one foot swells out quite large, and it's swollen for days. So I have some socks with decidedly different sized feet because those are for socks on days when I can't put my foot in a regular sized sock for my size. Because I've done something to it.
Sam has to leave soon tonight. Well, that's fine, Sam.
Hey, Sam. You gotta, that's it. Life happens. If you gotta go, you gotta go.
Oh, Melanie says she only wears hand knit socks. Yeah, I think that's kind of, well, maybe not every knitter's goal, but a lot of knitters. I guess if you're a sock knitter, that would be a goal to have
an amazing goal.
Your whole sock drawer be hand knit socks. Yeah. That would be fun.
My current hope is to have 90 to 95% of my wardrobe entirely handmade. So either sewn by me or stitched by me.
I think that's a great goal. You have to keep us updated on that.
Right now I'm working on dresses and skirts because I decided this last year that I'm done with pants. I want to be done with pants. If they could walk around in the Little Ice Age in Britain in the 17th century in skirts, I can manage it too. Nothing a nice, dense weave of wool can't manage and look good.
Well, you know, I'm just checking the time here.
I could wear leggings underneath and leg warmers and nobody will know.
There you go. I
was looking at the time we're okay.
Yeah, I was checking the time. And so Susanna said when she was in junior high, so grades 7, 8, and 9, we had home economics and learned sewing, cooking, and something else. So you know how to cook, and that was in the late 60s.
Well, they still had that when I did high school, junior high in the 90s, but I am with my mom, and we have some very unpopular opinions about schooling and education. Very unpopular. Both of us strongly advocate and believe in year-round schooling, uniforms, and you are required to take both home ec and shop to graduate. Yeah. You have to learn how to fix and mend on both sides of the spectrum, regardless of your gender.
I agree with that. That should be, every girl needs to know how to change the oil and change a tire. And
every girl needs to know how to do basic house repairs.
Yep.
Whether you do it or not is fine. I've always known how to change a tire. I still pay a dude. When I had a car, I still paid a dude. That wasn't the point. The point was that if I had to, I could change a tire. I've also been building houses with my dad since I was little. The man gave me things way too soon. Just fine. But I also know how to sew my own clothes and I know how to cook. And I think it should be gender neutral. I think it should be taught, period.
Oh, it should be. It absolutely should be. So,
but I also believe in year-round schooling. So I am not the most popular human being on the planet when it comes up in conversations.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to year-round schooling either.
It gives us time to actually teach without having to cram it in, and then we can actually give the weight of time required for a lot of subjects, like our own history. And we just recently had a lot of people smacked in the face with things they don't know about the history of their own country.
Yep.
Never mind everybody else's history, which is also just as important to learn.
Yeah. Do you want people to cast on or vote for sock color?
Sure, but I'd actually have to go grab the sock colors. They're back here. Okay. They're back here.
All right.
Which I can do. You got comments to check up on?
Yeah, I was just saying, oh, Sherry says hashtag justice for leggings.
They are not pants.
I think she's going to disagree with you on that one. And Erica's asking me if
we happily argue about this all the time in Patreon.
Erica's asking me if I've cast on Nikki's even heel socks yet, and no, because I had said I was going to do it while we were chatting. Well, I thought about doing it, but I have the yarn here. I have it wound. I've got my needle. I just need to cast on now. But I need to know, Erica. Sorry. Erica, I saw you did yours. You cast on toe up. So Nikki, are these socks toe up? I don't know, for some reason, I was assuming they'd be cuffed down. So I guess if they're toe up, I got to find a different needle to cast on toe up. Or is the pattern written both ways? Or did Erica just modify it? Anyways, I got to figure that out. I may have to go find a different needle, but I'm all set. I'm all set to cast on, and that is my plan to do tonight.
I think that's a very good plan.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me. I'm not facing my microphone.
Yeah, I can hear. So here, before we move on to socks a little bit, because we were talking about modifying socks too, but sweaters. So who all feels comfortable modifying a sweater?
Ooh, I raised my hand.
I know a couple people said, oh, cuff down, Melanie said. Oh, Melanie's knitting some right now too. Excellent. Okay, A is cuff down. Fantastic. Okay. Then I'm set. I can just cast on. Or maybe the better question is, who has modified sweaters? I know a couple people said they did. Is there anybody else that's in the chat that wants to chime in on what they have done, or if you would be interested in? Is it something that you're toying around the idea with?
I need more needles.
You need more needles.
You're awesome right now. Finish some things.
Okay, so Erica's saying, yeah, no, it's cuffed down. Nikki says it's cuffed down, but the heel can be done. So, okay. I'm assuming that there had to have been, there you go, probably Nikki had some modifications in there so you could cast on either way. That was your ribbing in the picture? That was your ribbing in the picture? I thought it looked like a toe.
I could use this yarn. This is Christmas yarn.
Maybe I just assumed because the last socks you just knit were toe up. Maybe I was just assuming you were doing the same thing again. All right, now I have to go back and look at that sweater. How did I get a cuff and a toe mixed up?
That's impressive. I've not managed that yet.
That's crazy.
I mean, the month's young. Well, the year's young. The month's old. Where's my purple?
Okay, so this is interesting. So Sherry G says she modifies her sweaters, but she doesn't feel confident doing it. Alice says she does. Yep, she modifies her sweaters. So Erica, so it could be anything. Like, I mean, this like simple modifications would be just making your sleeves longer or your body longer. then you get into more complicated stuff, into, you know, like maybe saying taking a pullover sweater and just adding stitches in all on your own, figuring out, you know, you're just going to add in steek stitches and switch it up into a cardigan, add a button band on. Or it could be like Jocelyn was saying, or you could be, you know, if your gauge is not on, then you want to, because, you know, you've all done a gauge swatch, then you could say, okay, well, I like the fabric that I'm getting.
I hear Sherry right now. Nope.
But that's what, like my gauge, according to my gauge, is going to make my sweater either bigger or smaller. So then you could just pick a different size, use the gauge you're getting, and find on the schematic what the size this gauge you're getting is going to, you know, you want your chest measurement and everything to, you pick a different size and then carry on with that.
Easiest way to do the math is do your gauge swatch, whether that's the sleeve, the start of the body, if you're really risking it. Measure 1 inch, count how many stitches you have in 1 inch. Take that number, multiply it by the number of inches you need to go around your bust or upper bust measurement. That will tell you how many stitches per inch you need. So say what's 18 divided by 4? I don't know, it's like 4.5 or something. No, 5.5, 5, 10, 15. Okay, we'll do 20 because I can divide evenly in even numbers. So say gauge says I need to get 20 stitches over 4 inches. That's 5 stitches in an inch to have the right number of stitches at my size. So say I get 6 stitches per inch and I love the fabric. I would take 6 times it by 47 because I'm getting 6 stitches per inch. That's going to tell me how many stitches I need to get around my bust. I then just look at the pattern to see the cast on number that closely matches that stitch number I got in my math, and I cast on that size.
There you go. And then you have to, though,
you have to be careful.
And then even though you cast on for a different size, sometimes you still have to knit like your length for your actual body size, not the size you're knitting.
Yeah, because I know that I am reading and talking at the same time. That's always helpful, isn't it? Because I know I'm only 7 inches in here, or 7.5 inches, 7.5 to 8 inches in here. I will make sure that I've casted on the size that will get me to where I need to be for my upper bust measurement. But I know I'm doing the same number of increase rows as if I was a small. So I have a shorter thing. So I keep track of where my row gauge is going to. So that way I'm still the right size to fit my person. Right.
Now, Alice has put an interesting comment in here. She said, put short rows into elbows.
You could do short rows into elbows.
I have never done that.
That would be an interesting technique to use.
But it would if you need a little extra room. You need a little extra fabric in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Why not? I love short rows. Short rows are amazing for just giving you a little extra length where you need it. Okay, so Nikki says she's not done much on that pattern, but okay, so this is for the even heel she's talking about. So no mods in the pattern, but the repeats and the rest of the sock Diana is doing has mods to cup down or toe up.
She's doing reps and rest.
Is that what?
Reps and reps?
Reps and rests.
That's the one.
Okay. Reps and rests. Okay.
Oop, right. I needed to turn that magnifying app on again so I could have the color name. Don't mind me, guys. I'm reading things through a magnifying app.
Okay. That's all right.
That's fine.
Okay, so Erica, I love the fact that she said she's doing the even heel pattern as written. It's also a great new experience to compare the toe up process. I'm excited to hear if you prefer one over the other, or just love them both because they're both just different as far as for sock knitting goes, toe up or cuff down. Let's see. Oh, Elena says she modifies sweaters all the time. I recently knit Love Note, and basically the only thing I used for the pattern was the part from the start to the end of the legs pattern, and then you just did your own thing. See, that's great when you can feel confident enough just to wing it.
I've looked at Love Notes. I own the Love Note. I think it's a very pretty pattern. I think it's too boxy for my frame. Like, I wouldn't like where it would sit, and I wouldn't like the shape that it would give me. So I would probably do the same. I would make it, but I would make it at a vastly negative finished inseam so that it would be a fitted sweater for me.
Absolutely.
But that's just, I also wouldn't make it with mohair because I hate mohair. So thanks, you guys.
So you'd have the general feel of the sweater, but then just make it to fit how you want.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which super legit. I was telling Mom today when I was talking to her that I need to buy more Tristan designs from Dragon Horde Yarns, because her patterns for me require the least amount of modification for the fit I want out of my sweaters.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good thing to know.
So I know when she drops a sweater pattern, I'm going to seriously look at it, because it's got a lot of the elements already built into her design style that works with my knitting style for a fit I want. So she's on that sort of short list of designers where I'll go, yes, because I know it takes very minimal work for me to make something that looks good on me in your designs. I was wearing the Half Moon tee the other day. I was walking around the house with it. I love the Half Moon tee. I really like the wood woes I'm working on. I love my Saturday morning sweater, which is designed to be oversized, but it's not super oversized for me.
Right.
I already bought the Witchling, which is another pattern she has out. So like, I've already made 2 of 4 patterns of hers I own, and I love the fit of the 2 of the 4 patterns. And the third one I'm finishing also fits quite well from the tests I've done for putting it on. So 3 out of 4, and they're hits. And I don't have to modify. I don't do short row shaping because I'm always looking to shorten the yoke depth. That's just a thing for me. And for me, that's the easiest way to take out length. It's just not to do the short row shaping.
Well, exactly.
So I don't do it. But her sleeves are almost long enough without additions. She likes going to 16 to 18 inches in her patterns from underarm to bind off ratio. So it means for me to push to 22 inches so that it hits me where I want it isn't actually that much more. So I'm not having to go, oh, I need 2 extra skeins in her patterns. I've only needed 1 additional skein to get an arm length and body length I want.
And that's great that you stumbled across her patterns and you found that out.
Is it going to stop me from trying new people? Heavens no.
Okay, listen to this. I love this, Melanie. I love this. Melanie says she knit a pullover, wore it for a couple of weeks, then decided to turn it into a cardigan.
Yep. Why not?
Just cut that baby open. Yep.
Do it.
I love it.
Yeah. Add a button band and you're done. And if you've got extra yarn, you can do that.
Always buy extra yarn.
Always buy extra.
There you go. That's the moral of that story. Always buy extra yarn, just in case you want to steek your sweater and add a button band.
Why not? All you have to do is sew up either side where you're going to put your steeking stitches in to secure your wool. If it's a natural wool, it's fairly sticky on its own. Give it a good knit stitch, which is a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine. Yes. It'll be nice and secure, and then just right up the middle of the scissors. Pick up your stitches in a button band, and away you go.
I like that.
Done and done.
Like
no muss, no fuss. No muss, no fuss.
Okay, so Erica says she modifies her sweaters a lot. She says she's only 5'3", so she changes.
Oh, you'd have to. Yeah. You'd have to because again, a lot of designers are going to be a nice standard size height, have slightly different aspects going from there. I would be surprised if people didn't have to shorten the garment lengths when I start releasing garments, because I'm 5'10" and 3/4. Like I'm pretty much 5'11". I just hate admitting that I'm nearly 5'11". I'm almost 6 feet tall.
You need to embrace that. You need to embrace it.
Hate my height. I hate my height so much. I assume everyone is going to be shortening my patterns because I am making them long enough to fit my frame. at a certain length, which is going to be longer than most people's length, unless you're my mom, who, while she may only be 5'4", well, 5'4" and a bit, almost 5'5", wears my size sweaters and my dad's size sweaters, and my dad's bigger than I am. My dad's 6'2", because that's what she likes fit wise. So the Shapely Boyfriend cardigan we're taking to her, the blue and gray striped one I made, I'm taking it because if she likes it, the only thing I have to change is shortening the sleeves. So why wouldn't I?
Remember you saying that? Yep.
Yeah. Why wouldn't I, before I frog the whole sweater and make it smaller for myself? Let's see if mom would like it. Because if mom would like it, great. It's an article for her wardrobe. Shorten the sleeves. Yeah. She can happily wear the cardigan. And then she can go find wood buttons to sew onto it. She knows how. She taught me to sew.
All right. I'm casting on, you guys.
I have 3 yarns.
Ooh.
I have Mystery Christmas yarn and a grayscale from the Awesome. I have Erin yarn that I don't know what the colorway is, because I don't think it came with a button band, because I think I told her ages ago, don't worry about button bands. They're pretty. I don't care.
That's nice. That's gorgeous.
And then I have this one, which has a ball band, button band, ball band. That was the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, I know. We knew what you meant.
Oh, guys. Should I mention it's my period and I'm sleeping like 14 hours a day? It's distressing. Ooh.
Yeah, you okay. So while you're looking at that, Nikki said, yeah, remember, because Nikki did she modified her Stone Warrior. Remember, she did the color work all the way through the sweater, and then she tweaked it too.
Yeah, I think, and it looks amazing. So I think it's great. This is the Empress, which is one of the new colorways this year.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So one of these 3. Norway yarn, mystery yarn, Empress yarn.
Oh, I think you should do Norway yarn.
Norway yarn. It's a nice woolly yarn.
Yeah.
Nice and really makes some nice winter socks. Before anybody asks, I am an MC and cashmere belongs on my feet human.
Oh, you are? Okay. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I thought there was something I was going to say. So anybody who didn't catch me live Monday night, or watch the replay, or just listen to Monday nights. Anyways,
I'm not getting up to go get my needles, which are hanging on a hook back there. I'm just going to work on the sock I already have here.
I think we were talking about my sock yarn that is this week's cast on, and I went into this big wholesale. I want something super easy, pick up and knit and doctor waiting room knitting, kind of thing, easy mindless knitting. And then Nikki said because then I also said, I want to do a pair a month and I want to try all these different heels. And Nikki's like, oh yeah, well, remember Louise, I got the even heel sock pattern. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I think I should do that. So forget about me just doing something that I can do off the top of my head. I'm just going to try something different. I did a total 360. And Erica decided she wanted to knit them, because we kind of thought, okay, who else wants to knit them? We should all go grab Nikki's pattern. It's free.
I have a pair of naked sock needles. Why not? I'm in.
Yeah. So Jocelyn said she's in.
They've been on my list to cast on for ages.
I know. So I thought, why don't we do it? And Nikki, over on her YouTube channel, she said she's got a whole year-long sock knit along going on for these socks. A whole year, you guys. So there's no way anybody can argue with that one.
Well, I'm sure they could, but I don't think many of us will give it a lot of weight.
So if you guys want to go grab the pattern, find some sock yarn, let's have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? We always need a pair of socks, right? And I'm all excited about trying the heel. So Nikki said it is a modified version of a German short row. She said, so I'm excited to give it a whirl.
Is it cuffed down?
Yes, it is cuffed down.
I don't normally do cuff down socks. This will be interesting. Yeah. I rarely do anything other than toe up. She made the Jocelyn socks toe up with a folded cuff hem, because I don't like rubbing and I prefer toe up.
Well, aren't you special that she
Yes, I am. Thank you. I'm a special princess. Thank you very much.
That's funny. All right.
I'm easily distracted. Erin from Fireweed Fiber Co. We're friends. Can you tell? I have a lot of her yarn because it shows up at my door. I can just call and it comes with brownies and coffee and an afternoon knit date. Best system ever. Was working on a pair of striped socks.
Those are pretty.
And they're not, it's not self-striping yarn. I'm literally holding a mini on a sock skein.
You're doing your own thing.
Yeah, 4 rows of one, 4 rows of the other, 4 rows of one, 4 rows of the other, and up the foot I go with a contrast toe heel and cuff. Because I just have that many minis floating around. I had 2 of this pink and I have 2 of this orange. So a pair of matching socks with the Celestial Temple Sock Club colorway. I saw her doing it and I was like, I think I have 2 of those pinks. And I was off to my stash. She's like, well, if you don't, I'll just get you another pink. I'm like, it's gonna happen. I had 2 of the pinks. I had 2 of the oranges. I had a Sock Club colorway done. Would you need 2 minis? Probably not if you have a smaller sized foot. I have a size ladies 10 foot. This is not going to make a second sock. Even a shorty.
No.
But that's okay. I have a whole other mini I haven't even wound yet. It's like day glow pink. So pink. They're so cute. And it's still a basic vanilla sock, but that counting to 4 just gives me enough.
Yeah, just a little. Yeah. Little. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to see here. So what were the yarns again?
Oh, sure, of course. We have the
Norway yarn.
Norway yarn. Mystery yarn.
Which was the gray.
Norway yarn.
Yeah.
Mystery yarn.
Mystery yarn.
It's a bird. It's a songbird.
It's really pretty.
It's very pretty.
So that was Erin's yarn, right?
This is Erin's yarn. Yeah. Or the Empress.
Empress.
And I'll pull the mini out and put the mini in something else till I use it.
Okay. So let's see here. Sherry says multicolored Erin yarn.
That'd be the mystery yarn.
Mystery yarn.
And I'll cast that on because that could be a really good sock for travel.
Okay, so Nikki said, Jocelyn, if that
I'm with you.
Okay, if that is the start track yarn at the Star Trek yarn, maybe from a few months ago, hold on to it. I'm making a design. You might want to make it.
Nikki, I know the designer. The yarn dyer.
You can get more.
I can get more. I got this month's like I got May's. It came in the door and I looked at it for 20 minutes and I'm like, you realize one skein's not enough. She's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to dye you at least one more. I'm like, yeah, I gotta decide if I want a tank top or a t-shirt, like how many more skeins of May I require. And this has been a habit since the first Sock Club colorway showed up. Like she brought me her very first Sock Club colorway last January.
Yeah.
This purple finch with a little Pinot Noir mini skein. And I looked at her and I said, okay, I need 4 more full skeins of the mini so I can make a colorwork sweater. And she said, okay. And that set a precedent for how all the rest of it's why I have so much Erin yarn, because she ends up with so much of my money because it's so easy to buy from her.
Not a bad thing. Okay, so get a couple votes. Nikki says Empress yarn. Alice says Empress.
Okay. It's got this nice moody quality to it, like a stormy sky kind of. I like it. You don't have to be a Star Trek fan or a bird fan to like the colorways. So
no.
The wood rose I'm making, the Northern Cardinal, that's another Sock Club colorway that again it showed up and I said, I need 3 more, please. And Erin went, I figured that would be the case.
So Nikki said the Empress spiraled slightly, but it's beautiful. She said she did a ribbed sock. She said she might write a pattern for that one too.
Which makes sense.
Absolutely. Okay, Melanie said this is my second pair. Oh, second pair of them. The even heel. Fantastic,
okay. Which
Melanie.
is beautiful.
Good. See, that's a good recommendation if you knit something twice.
Yeah, I pulled out another one, but then I remembered that I want to use this one, this super bright, cheerful yellow one for Jocelyn socks.
That's so pretty.
For Jocelyn socks. And that's one of the songbirds from last year. I don't remember what name the bird is.
That's gorgeous.
American goldfinch, but I think these would make amazing Jocelyn socks and just be Stupid levels cheerful, or Diana socks, because then I can use the mini for the lace, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not sure yet. I pulled out.
But let's see. So Sherry says, Sherry, okay, did I go back here?
I'm not sure.
What did I do here? I'm looking at the comments here. Oh, Erica says she likes the goal of a pair a month. I know.
That's a good goal. It's quite reasonable.
Doing it.
But I mean, knowing me and Louise, the way you guys know me and Louise, there's the sweater challenge in February, there's the monthly check-in, and we've been talking about doing a granny square, crochet square a day next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so much coming up.
I know. When are we going to get it all done?
On the bright side, it means if you need to, your New Start Monday can be a crocheted granny square.
It could be. Yeah, that's right. I may have to do that
every once in a while.
Okay, so let me go back here and see. Oh, Erica was asking, so your striped sock that you're doing, are you cutting the yarn after every 4 rows, or are you carrying it up the side?
Carrying it up the side.
There you go.
I knit 2 rounds, and then I do the little yarn flip to carry the yarn up the side, knit the last 2 rounds, and then change colors. And I weave and Stevened the ends. So when I'm done, I just have my cast on end and my finishing end to weave in.
There you
go. Yeah. But I'm a pretty go with the flow kind of human being. Like that's just part of my nature is to go, yeah, well, that didn't quite work out the way it's planned. I changed the plan. I cast on the toe of my sock. One of my increases was kind of loose. Did I go back? No.
No.
I have a long tail for my starts of socks because I prefer to have a long tail for the starts of my socks. I'm just gonna sew up the hole as I weave in my sock in on my toe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Done.
Okay.
Doesn't need to be a thing.
This is why I'm like thinking I'm like all messed up in the comments. Sherry voted twice.
Sherry.
I'm like, I'm sure I just read Sherry's comment and I thought, okay, well maybe I got scrolling around here. Okay.
Cheater.
So she was voting for the mystery yarn. But she voted twice for the mystery yarn. I'm the mystery yarn, and there was a couple for the Empress. What do you guys think? Empress, was that the right word? I think so.
I like not having to make a decision. That's what I like.
We need. Let's do a couple more votes to see which one is it, because they're kind of tied, I think.
I also called my sister this week and I said A or B, and she went, B. What did I vote for? Meat for dinner. She went, oh cool, what are we making? I'm like, stew. She's like, oh, I chose well. I'm like, yes, you did. She's like, what was A? I'm like, fish. She's like, I don't like fish. I'm like, well, you're not eating either meal.
Okay, Erica had a good question about socks. So Erica posted in the Fiber Friend, she asked about what was everybody's favorite heel.
And ooh, mock short row.
It was probably up 95% people said heel flap and gusset.
I've never tried a heel flap and gusset.
Okay, and then there was a lot of us said because it fits better because we have high arches. And so Erica said, well, how do I know if I have an high arch? I've never thought about it. You would know if you did, because the arch of your foot, like when I go to put shoes on, like if I buy like running shoes or something, I put my foot in and it does not fit. Like it doesn't.
When you put your foot flat on the ground and look at the side of your foot, if there is a gap, so your foot does not touch the floor, that is your instep. That is your arch of your foot.
Do like get your foot wet and then walk on the floor and see if you see a full flat, like a handprint. You'll see it all.
Flat-footed. I'm flat-footed, so for me it's irrelevant. Yeah. But my sister has a very high arch, so she has that really pretty artsy heel into very almost nothing curvy out foot shape that you always see in like the TV shows and stuff. Feet, again, all very different.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So
but I find like mine's so high that like shoes don't fit me.
She struggles with shoes as well because she's got a really high arch. Yeah.
And they're very uncomfortable because you have no support.
Yeah.
On your of your foot.
I wear flat skater shoes and they're terribly comfortable, but I'm pretty much roughly flat-footed at this point. My problem comes from I need extra cushioning and stuff because I've partially torn some tendons and things. But it also comes down to how you put your weight down on your foot. So a lot of people will stand on like the balls of their feet, so right at the front where their toes are. So they find they wear out the toes of their socks. So they tend to like reinforced toes. Like they like to have extra density either on their fabric or extra fabric there to prevent wear. I wear out the heel of my sock because when I'm standing, all of my weight rests on the heel of my sock because I'm trying to take the pressure off the front of my foot where I've done the damage. So I wear the heels of my socks. So I like garter heels because I want that extra fabric there for extra cushioning and support.
Yeah, garter heels are nice. I like a garter stitch short row heel too. Yeah, I mean it's cushy, but
it is cushy. It is cushy.
I like it for that. But yeah. Sure, but a heel flap gussets definitely hits me the best.
I find a lot of people I know with a high instep like the heel flap and gusset.
Yeah. I think Empress. I think it had
Empress.
Okay. I think it had one more vote than the mystery.
Empress it is.
Yeah, because I don't think there's any other. Yep, no more.
I was thinking the great pumpkin colorway, but I couldn't find my alpaca sock. I also feel that would also make really good winter socks. Alpaca sock. Hello. A little bit of nylon in there. Oh, because alpacas are really loosey. Nice and warm. That'd be good. I'm serious, guys. I want to move to skirts by winter. I don't want to be wearing pants anymore.
Well, just do it. Just do it. I want to knit all the socks. All the socks.
Well, that's because of Sock Madness.
I know. It is lit a sock knitting.
There's a geek along happening. It's just getting underway.
Yeah.
And you can make Lattes and Lamos is the designer that is doing it.
Yeah.
And they are working in contribution with Child's Play, which is an organization that helps support sick children and gaming and low-income children and gaming, and sort of just to help promote board games, video games, and access to them, so like accessibility issues. And they do free knit-alongs where you can participate for free in the patterns for free, but if you can donate to Child's Play, that's even better. And they're an amazing organization and they do really good work. So the Northern Knits donates to them every year because both me and Diana participate in the knit along. 2 years ago it was the 8-bit sweater. I'm still not done mine. That's where that came from. But right now they're getting prepped to do Zelda socks.
Oh.
Zelda themed color worked socks. Hello.
That sounds like something that you need.
I need those in my life, and I think I'm with Diana. I think I'm going to do 2 colored ones. So I need to buy a plain skein of sock yarn because I don't actually own any. I
had to go out with a purpose to buy plain sock yarn. Yeah. Good night, Elena. Elena's heading to bed.
Good night.
Super late for her.
Oh yeah. So I wanna do that, but I mean I'm also been looking at like Stardew Valley themed socks. So like I just need some plain sock yarn in my life. Colorwork socks, people.
Okay. Erica thinks she falls in the middle.
Yeah. Well, if you fall in the middle, you'll probably find that there'll be a range of sock heels that you're comfortable with. That gives you some place to play with, which is good. It means you might be okay with a heel flap and gusset. You might also enjoy a fish lips kiss heel. Some days you might feel like a German short row heel. And if you fall in the middle and you've got that variability, it means you could do the heel that suits your mood.
Okay, you can just do
whatever heel you want.
Happy. Yeah. I cast on, you guys. I have no idea how many stitches. I just feel like I pulled my needle. So I'll count later. But we can say they're officially cast on.
Which is good. I need to wind a skein first. So step 1.
Oh, so are we going? I think we're going with Empress.
Empress is
it. All right. Cast it on. Even heel socks. I'm so excited to try something a little different.
Well, actually, first a photo, then wind the yarn.
Yeah. Do that.
Photo, then yarn winding.
Oh, Erica says she's definitely doing a sock a month, but I'd really like to work through my Latvian mitten book. Oh,
ooh, that sounds really lovely. Yeah.
A mitten set every quarter. I know.
That'd be
so many things. So many things. Like so many things. Yeah. Sounds so fun. So fun.
So much to do, guys.
Yeah.
So much.
All right. So you got your sock pattern. I've got cast on. I think we've all got good ideas for modifying sweater.
all coming to terms with the fact that bodies are bodies. It's fine. You can wear whatever you want. You just need to know how to make it in your size.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Stick to what you like.
Yeah, that's it. Find what you like and then tweak it to fit you.
Yep.
Yep. Not that hard. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, Melanie, I saw that comment earlier. Yes. So she said she's knit the simple slouchy sweater 5 times and she's planning on knitting it one more time.
Absolutely.
That's
Why
awesome.
not?
Yeah. If you like it and it fits, then just do it in different colors. And yeah, why? I mean, really, that's what I would like to have, is design myself the best fitting sweater that I love and just use that as a template. I like writing my patterns just as recipes where you fill in your gauge, your numbers, and plunk in all your own numbers.
I'm trying to do it so that the crochet patterns are that way. Because it's not difficult. I think a lot of our preconceptions about math are that we're taught it's hard. It's not actually hard. We're just taught that it's hard. So a lot of us have that mental barrier there.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Nikki says, okay, 40, 54, 64, 72, 80 stitches is the cast on numbers. Oh, perfect. Thanks, Nikki. So I'll probably I'll do 64.
I do 72.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 64. Sally's asking, would your sock fit a wide foot with low arches?
Yeah, that's another foot. That's like a high arch problems. Low arch, wide foot, also a problem.
Yeah.
Can you imagine high arch, wide foot? Oh my goodness, the struggle. The struggle.
I would think for that, Sally, is if you're doing down, you could do your leg. And then if, well, see here again, I'm thinking if it was a heel flap and gusset heel, when you pick up your stitches and then you decrease down typically you decrease back to the same number of stitches as you started. So your foot and leg have the same number. You could just decrease down not quite as much. So you make it a little bit, maybe put on the extra 4 stitches or, go from 64 to 68 or something, give yourself an extra inch width for the foot if you need it. That's where you just have to play around and you'd have to try it once for sure. Right. And see. And then, like Erica knit one sock. And I love the fact that you said that you put it on and you were wearing it just to get a feel.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah. And then you could tweak your second one because who says they have to match?
They really shouldn't because your feet aren't matching. One foot's going to be slightly longer or slightly bigger or have a slightly different instep, and your feet aren't identical. Neither are your hands. One's slightly larger than the other.
Okay.
That's perfectly normal.
Oh, Susanna. Yeah, Susanna, you're an accountant, so you're focused accountant. She says math isn't hard for her.
From the human who took you're too dumb to take regular math classes in high school. Math is not hard.
No, and knitting math is not too tricky, right? It's not like.
But I didn't learn algebra. I didn't learn any of the other stuff. I learned how to do my taxes, how to budget. And I learned a little bit of I learned real life math, real life math, like knitting math, sewing math, measuring when you're cutting for, bread slices, like that math. That's the math I learned. Ratios, like your ratios if you bake, because you function in quarter cups, third cups, tablespoons, teaspoons. You already know that math. The biggest part is just sitting down and finding someone who explains it in a way that makes sense to you.
Yes. Okay. Sally asked about the sock pattern is that we're talking about. Erica, autocorrect did an oopsie for you.
Was it a fun oopsie?
Yes, it was. Yes, autocorrect decided to call Erin's pattern even hell sock.
Close, autocorrect. Close.
Yeah. But yeah, even heel.
I look forward to casting on my even hell socks later tonight. I think that'll be good.
I kind of like that name now. So yeah, and Nikki was saying in here, so she said she cast on, I think she said the 80 stitch for her husband's sock.
Yeah.
And he has 10-inch circumference foot. 72 is approximately 9 inches. So measure your foot and see. Yeah. So there you go. Right. You can take your
circumference,
the number of stitches you cast on by your gauge to see where you're ending up. And
your foot circumference measurement you can take by yourself. You just have to be able to reach your foot.
Yeah, that one you can do.
That one you can do. It's like your hand circumference. You can take it. It's just a slightly tricky because like my hand circumference is 8.5 inches around the widest part of my hand. But I add an extra 2 inches to every single mitten pattern on the planet because I live in a part of the world where you do not want cold up your sleeve.
Oh,
so yeah. 2-inch mitten cuff is not going to cut it.
You want a big long one. Yeah.
You want 4 inches minimum.
Yeah. You don't want any breeze up your mitten.
Minus 40 with the wind chill breeze is not welcome under the coat. It's not welcome under the coat.
No. Oh, Audrey voted for the Empress.
Empress.
Yeah. So there you go. Definitely decided Empress.
Definitely. Excellent.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys, I think we should probably wrap up. It is almost 9:30. We've been chatting for almost like we're getting minutes.
2 hours.
2 hours.
I gotta go. It's Critical Role night.
I know you do. It's 9:30 here, and I haven't had supper yet. So
hey, neither have I. So it's 8:30 here.
So Sally asks, is everybody knitting striped socks? Well, mine will be. This is going to be a striped sock, but you don't have to do them striped.
No, mine won't.
Oh, Melanie said a quick cheat. The length of your hand is the length of your foot. Minus
roughly.
Yeah, I like that. And then the same thing, the length of your hand from your bottom of your ear to the top of your. That's the how tall you should make the body of your hat from cast on edge to where you start decreases for the top of your hat.
Oh yeah, I do it all the time. It gives me a really good rough estimation as to how far I am down on the thing. It's the same with like the body. Like for me, the body of the sweater has to go from like the armpit hole has to be where my fingertips is, and my body has to come down to about here before I even start measuring.
Well, and now this
for me, that's the length I'm looking for. Other people will be looking for different lengths.
This always surprises me, and I just had to do a quick check, and I'm like, is this really right before I say it? But it is, and it doesn't look like it from your elbows. Well, maybe from the inside. Your elbow to your wrist is the length of your foot.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, pretty darn close. And I look at that, and I think, oh my God, that looks huge. My foot isn't that long. And you measure it, and it really is
really quite close.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, this has been a lot of fun. So this was our mid-month motivation. So hopefully this has motivated you to either cast on socks, modify your sweaters.
We're so bad for casting on things.
I know, just cast it on. Cast it on. Cast it all on. It's all about making yourself happy. Well, this has been lots of fun. So we're back here in 2 weeks, aren't we?
Oh, God. Yes.
Whatever that, let me look quick.
7th?
That's,
pulling numbers out of my butt.
No, the 1st. Oh, no, this should work okay for us. The first Thursday of the month is June 2nd. The 2nd.
Sweet Jeebus.
So I think that will work. My daughter's getting married on the Saturday. Well, I shouldn't say that. She's having her wedding on the Saturday. She is already married, but they never had their wedding because of COVID.
Okay, so the ceremony is on the 3rd.
Yeah. So the big party and everything's on the 4th.
I leave
Thursday night. So we should be fine to chat.
Thursday. Yeah, I leave town next Thursday and I come home on Wednesday. And there's a live podcast in between that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm losing a whole week of crafting time is what it is. Yeah.
It'll be a fun trip.
I'm very excited for the trip. I'm very much looking forward to it, and eating Saskatoon berries. And I have already been informed that the coconut whip in a can that I can eat is already at the house. So ice cream and coconut whipped cream and ice cream sauce.
Yummy.
I'm so excited. So excited. Then something about moving rocks for my mom. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh. I went, okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, I'll move rocks, no problem.
Well, you'll have to take your socks with you. That'll be a good on the road project.
I'm leaving the house for more than 6 days. I'm taking at least 4 projects with me, possibly 6. And I'm going to a fiber festival, which means I might end up buying more yarn and knitting needles.
Probably.
I know how to travel as a crafter. And I'm traveling with an indie yarn dyer. It's not like there won't actually just be yarn in the car.
Okay, you'll have to show us what you come home with.
It's gonna be so many weird pictures and Instagram stories, guys. It's gonna be kind of crazy.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to following you on your trip.
Should be a fun adventure. All right, you guys. I gotta go.
Yeah, me too. So thanks everybody for listening and chatting with us. It's been lots of fun as always. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. And so I guess if something happens and that Thursday night in 2 weeks isn't going to work for you, if it's going to be too close to you coming back home or something.
Oh no, I'm coming home on the Wednesday, so I will be grounded on Thursday because I'm leaving the cat with my sister and brother-in-law, and they have 3 dogs.
Oh,
so when I come home, I'm grounded. So I need to. She will be latched to me.
So okay, all right. So then it sounds like we should be good. I'm getting my nails done that Thursday. Anita and I are getting yours done, so I'll be able to show you nails, and then
mani pedis.
Chat about our
mani pedis should be covered. Should be covered as a health expense, which is so nice. All right. All right. Away yarn. You got to go back to the bed.
Okay, guys. Everybody.
See you in a bit.
Bye.